Movie Minute live. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
And I'm Rob Cabasco.
And our names are switched.
Because I don't think I've used this panel with us.
That's me.
Wait, so hold on. So the opening is going, right? We're trying to be quiet.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here going, oh, we're in natural light. I forgot to close the blinds. I forgot to turn on the lights. That's cool.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just comfortable today. Here,
Exactly.
I'm just gonna go ahead and make it.
Cash.
It's all good. It's all good.
Exactly.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
For having me in the studio.
In the studio
Right.
for now, temporary. Lots to talk about. Interesting week. Busy.
Yep. Very busy on Marvel Movie Minute podcast. I mean, we're finally getting into some action.
Oh.
So we have.
Let me bring
bring
Arena
her up.
around,
There
and
she is.
I'll give her what
right.
to do. There we go.
There she is. Unfortunately, she was not in these episodes because she has
gone.
moved on.
Yeah.
Not dead. Just moved on.
No.
So we finally get into some action. So we have this is right in the middle of the big fight that happens at the Stark Expo. So we have drones planting themselves and launching
Right.
stuff in the air and flying through the air and friendly fire shooting each other down and Rhodey trying to get control of his suit. I mean, it was a very, very action-packed thing.
Yeah, it was fun though. We finished the conversation about all the armed forces and
all the themes.
The themes and incredible ice again. We'll talk about. We have some Marvel Legends news later, but please, Hasbro,
Yes, please.
please do a pack
Yeah.
of the armed forces drones,
Justin Hammer.
please, and Justin Hammer.
Bring Hammer home.
Yes, do the whole. Come on, you got
Come
everything
on.
else. We'll talk about that later. No, we did that. We had a very amazing conversation, I thought, about cosplay rounded out the week.
I say there's some of them that we talked about are actually on the walls here around us.
So that was fun. I really enjoy that. The Star Trek helmet always still makes me laugh.
I believe the Eye of Agamotto from Marvel Legends is supposed to be shipping soon. I have pre-ordered it, so
it's coming here though.
coming soon.
It's coming here first.
I know. You might actually see me unbox it here.
Oh yes, we will.
Oh
Totally
yeah.
forgot about that. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great week. Great week on the podcast. It's not too late. You'll get to hear what's going on. The final battle, the big battle.
Maybe people have been waiting until they have the entire thing and they can just binge it. Maybe. Can you imagine someone binging 150 episodes of podcast?
In these warm, humid days of summer, maybe that is what you'd like to do. So that's fine. We understand. It's all good. Enjoy.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. Awesome.
All right, so it's not a heavy week for news, but some good stuff happened. First of all, we have a movie has actually started shooting officially.
Oh.
So we announced that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was out there, and so Peyton Reed actually got onto Twitter and posted the first image to say, "Principal photography has begun," and he chose an interesting subject.
That's brilliant.
For those Ant-Man fans, you know exactly what it is. For the rest of you, why is there a weird bunny on the screen? That was the creepy bunny that Scott bought for his daughter, Cassie, in the first movie, and then it shows up in Ant-Man and the Wasp as well. So now it's going to be making an appearance again, apparently in a very dangerous situation because it's next to a biohazard container.
Tank.
I don't know what's going on there, but we know that Jonathan Majors is going to be he'll be showing up as a variant of his original character, and I think this is the one where we're actually going to see him as Kang for the first time. And almost everybody we know is back. David Dastmalchian actually doesn't know if he's back yet, so we don't know if the guys like the team I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, well, yeah, but what was their company they formed?
XCon.
Yeah, so we don't know if XCon is in this.
The van's gone.
Yeah.
They got a new van.
Yeah, and one of the actors was not asked to return. They've distanced themselves because of some things that has going on in his life.
Complications.
But we don't know that. But the thing I still find interesting is because we're going to the quantum realm. At one point in all the social media stuff, someone had tagged Aaron Cross.
Oh.
So if he got shrunk down into the quantum realm when they're going to the quantum realm, there's a chance that Yellow Jacket could be showing up again.
Oh, well, that was sort of hinted at the final episode of Loki,
right?
wasn't it?
When,
right.
Yeah, because Yellow Jacket's helmet is there. Visible.
A big one.
Yeah.
So he's right.
So it basically put sort of reminding us that there's still another size-changing villain out there,
Right.
possibly stuck in where Janet was stuck,
Right.
and Janet got out. So
Huh.
who knows? Yeah, but it's pretty exciting. So let's see what else we got. So for those of you who are playing Marvel's Avengers on next-gen consoles, first of all, I was there day one, so I'm with you in the pain and frustration and impatience and 100%. But for those of you who, like me, play for story, on August 17th, the Black Panther expansion will finally be coming out. So we'll actually be able to play as Black Panther. He will join the group. You can play him anywhere. There's a whole new story. They're going to Wakanda. There's stuff with Claw, all sorts of new things. And apparently it's not going to be a retread of anything we've seen before, so it'll be all new story stuff. So it won't be just trying to redo the movie or anything like that. So it's good. And for those of you who own it already, it's free. So, and for those of you watching this on this weekend, I believe this weekend, the game, not only can you play it for free, but you also can download it for very, very cheap. I paid full price, and I regret it.
Wait, so
it
what
was unfinished.
What was it? So wait, like that was a $50, $60 game to start with?
Yeah.
And then, so what is it now?
$20.
Oh. And wait, if you pay $20 now, do you get the expansion for free?
You do. That's the nice thing about that. I will give them, so I love Crystal Dynamics. I think they tried to do too much.
Oh,
They tried to cover too many bases, I guess. It's like they tried to have everything all at once. So I guess it's really hard to do Marvel Spider-Man like for PlayStation and Destiny and at the same time.
Right.
And it's like they spread themselves so thin that everything ended up kind of suffering it. Because it has a great story, has great graphics, and like and the controls are really good too. It's the best Black Widow that's ever been on video games ever. She's amazing in it. But the problem is that still that balance thing in the grind. Like once you finish the story, if you're a story person like me, I don't really have any interest in just going and fighting random robots for hours on end just to raise a arbitrary number up.
Right. Yeah.
So, but in their defense, as I've taken a couple shots there, in their defense, they have laid out a year of free content, and they're still refining and still changing and still trying to adjust the formulas to try and get the game sort of the way they want it to be and the way the fans want it to be too. So anything new that comes out, you get for free.
Well, that's cool too, though, because that gives you would hope then the game has some longevity. Like I expect that game to be around then for like another 3 to 5 years.
That's what they hope.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
That's what they hope. So
awesome.
We'll see. And so obviously, and having Black Panther join it is going to be a big plus to that. Speaking of dates, we now know when Hawkeye's coming. So it's a little weird because we know approximately when What If is ending, but we don't know what comes next.
Right.
So if the date they put out, and it was along with the first look, which we're not going to share because it's really boring. It's just like it's the two Hawkeyes essentially standing looking at each other.
Right.
Comes out on November 24th, so right around Thanksgiving. But November 24th, so we know that What If's going to run into August and in a little bit of September. But what happens between September and the end of November?
Shang-Chi. You got to.
I guess so.
Shang-Chi, September. Well, What If's going to overlap with that?
Yeah, but Loki overlapped with
Black Widow. So September, and then. Wow, that's surprising because you have Eternals.
Right. Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not launching in October, like early October.
Yeah.
And then that kind of just continues. Who knows? There must be some. Well, there's some reason.
Yeah. And this will obviously continue on some of the story from Black Widow. So I mean, it makes sense to give it a little bit of a space for everyone to get it. But I don't know. It's unusual.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. Maybe there's another surprise that they have waiting for us because we were told that Miss Marvel was coming for the end of the year too. But it makes sense to me to have Miss Marvel come out in the spring, closer to Marvel's.
Do we know, like for Disney Plus for programming?
Yeah.
Have they said Mandalorian season 3? Is it the fall?
They've said fall. That's all we know.
Wow, so you really are going to finally now have overlapping series running. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And Book of Fett is supposed to be in that same area too. So I mean, so I don't think they're not spacing out the nerd content because maybe they're thinking that it's different people. Even though we're gonna be watching both of the things.
Right. Of course.
And somebody else got a good gig. So Winston Duke has crossed to the other side of the street, has joined the distinguished competition, but for very good reason because M'Baku is now Batman.
Wait, what?
In a new podcast series, Winston Duke is going to be playing the Dark Knight, and come on.
Wait, I didn't. What?
Yes.
Wait. So like they're kind of doing. So everyone's now doing a serial podcast like
official-
Star Lord, old man.
Yes.
Star Lord.
Yes.
Okay.
So DC has made a deal with Spotify, and they're creating an original series. It was about a new villain. So the new villain's name is the Harvester, who is a serial killer.
Ooh, okay.
And so it's called Batman Unburied.
Oh.
And Winston Duke is going to be playing Bruce Wayne. I'm trying to see if they have a date. It just says fall, so they haven't actually put a date yet.
Wait, that sounds awesome.
I know, and what a voice.
Yes.
Like, that's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm so excited for him.
Oh, wow.
And for us.
Okay.
Everybody wins.
Yeah, that's great.
And the last piece of news I had is that Black Widow is coming home much sooner than anyone expected. So while it's still in theaters, while it's still on Premiere Access, you can now buy it legitimately in August. Like the digital version is coming out in August to purchase. Like you can go to iTunes, pay $20 and get it. And then from that in September, if you want to buy the Blu-ray, then the Blu-ray and the 4K version comes out too. While it's still in theaters, it's also now going to be on every possible thing. Streaming, download, and physical media. So by September, you'll have it everywhere at the same time.
Well, that's interesting because I just saw this. October, it goes free on Disney+.
Right.
So, I mean, it is literally every month there is something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder. Oh wait.
Oh.
I think that leads into a conversation called
"The
Justice Files."
That's right.
Yeah,
the big piece of news that we hadn't talked about yet.
I hope this is a one-time only segment.
Right.
What? Okay, I mean, like if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a lot of legalese that's happening, litigation. What is going on?
Okay, so Scarlett Johansson and her representation have sued Disney Company for basically lost revenue. Right. So what it comes down to is when you are an actor of her stature, and she is a top 20 actress. I mean, I don't know what the current standing is or whatever, but like she is a name above title. So when you and also has been doing this job for 10 years or more. Right. I haven't done the math, but I have done the math. It's 11 years.
11 years. Because we've been talking about the movie where she started.
Yeah, so 2010 it came out. So yeah, I guess it depends if you want to say when she started doing it. 2009 before the movie came out. Whatever. But it's cool. 10 years. Let's say a good solid decade. Proven, box office commodity. So when you're of that stature and you make the deal for a movie, especially when you're going to be the star of it, you also get points. So points means that you get a certain percentage of the box office that comes back. And famously, Robert Downey Jr., pretty much from like Iron Man 3 on, got points on every movie he was in. So, and wisely, I mean, like basically saying that, yes, I'll take it. You write me a check at the start, like to do a certain amount of money, and then I will take a percentage of the box office on the back end. And he famously had that on Endgame and made more money on that one movie than he had the previous movies that he had been doing for Marvel. It's a good gig.
I would say, is it not all the movies he's ever done?
It's possible. It's possible.
It was more than what he made on Chaplin.
He's had a long.
I mean,
more.
more.
Oh yes. Yeah, exactly. Like his residual check was more than the entire budget of Chaplin. I think. And I say, and this is, I mean, obviously from people who are of a lower tax bracket. Right. Like I know there's a bit of like, oh, it's not enough for you, and that was actually where things got really shitty. Right. Because she put basically what happened is because they put it on Premiere Access, that made $60 million by itself in opening weekend. Yeah. And then the next weekend of Black Widow, it dropped off 70% in the box office.
Biggest drop of a Marvel movie.
Of Marvel movie ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's lost wages essentially for her because she was promised a certain percentage of the box office, and Disney sort of, in their version, in Scarlett's team's version of it, went out of their way to remove a bunch of that. So they basically however much a movie like Black Widow would have made in a normal world without streaming it and all these kind of things, $200 million or whatever. Disney went in and took $60 million and just slid it off into their pockets and said, no, you can divvy up off of that. And so that's their point. Right. And Disney responded to this in a really, I know that we're armchair pundits.
Right, of course.
That we're just looking at the side of it. But like, I would have fired that guy so fast because it was one of the worst press releases you could have done, basically shaming her for making, basically like she got paid $20 million, is what we found out for making this movie. And they're saying like, oh, like, is that not enough for you? Was it enough for Robert Downey Jr.? Was it enough for Chris
Yeah, it's
Evans?
really
was it enough
amazing.
for Chris
Yeah.
Hemsworth? Because every one of those guys make back-end money off of it, and you weren't shaming them.
Right.
And so, and you
Right.
never did this to any of their movies. So the question is, like, if Thor Ragnarok had come out now, would they have done the same thing?
Right.
Would they have put it on Premier Access too? Or is it just because, oh, it's the Black Widow movie, we can get away with it?
Right. No, there's a lot of inequality that appears in all of this. The other issue is like, look, it's not an argument about, well, how much is too much? That's irrelevant. I mean,
Right.
like you perform a service, there is a value in what you do, in whatever place of business this is, whether you're an athlete or CEO or whatever the job is. And I will just say, like, I appreciate that and I understand that. And I think it is odd, doesn't it? Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, we're back.
Oh, we're back. Okay, good.
Yeah, there we go. We're back. We didn't
Little
lose
hiccup.
anything.
Little hiccup.
Hiccup. We're good.
Okay.
Hey, that's nice. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have made sense if Disney had just said proactively, you're going to get a cut of Disney Plus views?
Right.
Would this not have...
Right. I mean, because
I don't
they
understand.
separated that revenue stream.
Right.
Like Disney, like said, you had to pay $30 if you wanted to see Black Widow. And like I say, we don't want to shame anybody for doing that because I've done it.
Right.
I've bought a bunch of Premier Access stuff. If you're in an area where it's not safe or you're not able to see the movie,
absolutely.
it's a great option. Like
Right.
I don't want to go against saying that, but at the same time, the people who worked on the movie deserve to be compensated for the money they would have made if it had gone into theaters.
What I don't get is, and if you read all of, and I hate, all the rumors of this is that Feige's not happy.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Like this, that's the thing is what we've learned is that basically Kevin Feige had nothing to do with this. This is all
right.
upper management stuff. This is big boardroom stuff, and he's really pissed off that they're doing it because essentially this, if nothing else, from a fan perspective, this closes the door for Black Widow.
Oh yeah,
in the MCU, like Scarlet will never come back to the MCU.
Oh no,
at
you
this
can't.
point.
No,
And
that's
you can't
it.
really blame her.
No, I don't blame her, and I don't understand unless everything you mentioned, the press release, oddly written, not something that would come.
It seems like it was just fired off.
Right.
Like somebody was mad and they just
and that shouldn't, press releases shouldn't happen like that from trillion-dollar organizations.
No.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Two, I mean, okay, if there's an issue right now, I'm sure Disney's books aren't great. Like, I mean, like, and when I say that,
I mean,
when I say that,
$1 billion company,
put the brakes on that. I know their books are fine.
It's been a weird,
but it's
couple
Disney
of years.
books, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a little weird.
Yeah.
And we were just talking before, like, Jungle Cruise they're going to probably take a $130 million bath on Jungle Cruise, right?
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So if that's the case, parks, we understand all that, everything else, right? I still do not understand why you would upset Kevin Feige, one of your primary actors.
Yeah.
And
also from a cynical business perspective, one of your earners.
Yeah, one of your
top earners.
And your whole future.
Yeah.
Is reliant on this whole agreement. Like,
because, as much as there is like cultural cachet, like Kevin Feige has done way more financially for you than J.J. Abrams ever did.
Oh, J.J.
And that's my comparison.
No, that's true.
We don't need to talk about Rise of Skywalker at all.
No, we're not gonna.
But if you look at the numbers that came back from how much they paid Rise of Skywalker versus, let's say, Endgame, let's say Infinity War, let's say Ragnarok, let's say Ant-Man and the Wasp, you kind of have to go
Black Panther. I mean, like
Black Panther is class above itself. I mean, like that's you kind of have to go why it's not worth it. Like,
I don't understand.
Yeah, is this fight really worth it for what you're going to gain versus what you're going to lose?
Well, no, because I mean, like, I really don't understand. Like, why wouldn't you just give her 10, 15 million of the Disney Plus money if it made 60 million?
Yeah.
Like, for
and
real.
Call it a day.
And call it a day. Like, and make everybody happy, and like everybody just goes, okay, we understand this is where things are. Like, why don't I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So we're not. Maybe that's the reason why we're not in control.
Exactly. That's why we're not. That's why we're doing a little web show from your office as opposed to making big financial decisions.
I mean, I don't know. What? I don't know.
I just at the end of the day, for me, it's good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. I'm like I think this is one of those icky subjects nobody likes to talk about everything. But and so good for her for standing up for herself and saying, you wouldn't treat the other guys like this, so you shouldn't treat me like this.
No, that's absolutely. I completely agree.
So, and then the rest of it's up to the lawyers.
Completely agree. Well, really weird segue.
Yep.
After we just talked about that,
Should she?
we I didn't think that was gonna happen. Okay, merch minute. I know we love doing these.
Yeah.
We just got to talk about this because there were some really cool things that I think Keynote is gonna hold up. Wait a minute.
So
I'm gonna get you. Go ahead.
Okay, so this week they announced some new figures from Hasbro. So from our friends at Hasbro. So Hasbro announced their next line of Marvel Legends figures, and so they not only is that where Sylvie showed up. So that was the big one. Is that like where is Sylvie going to be? Was that this is the line she's going to be in? But it's not just like the last one, which was very focused on Falcon Winter Soldier and Loki and stuff too. She sort of slipped into this one because and she's sort of the only regular human looking one, like actor likeness in this one. So throw her up there. There she is. And we can see that she has a green cloak on. I think that's sort of like it is removable.
Oh yeah, this looks great.
You can see the different hands. You can see her sword there too.
Right.
I mean, like it's a really good likeness. The sculptors at Marvel, I mean, at Hasbro are just astounding.
The sculptors are great. And this,
I know the 3D scan and they do all stuff, but like there still is an element of like.
No, there's art, there's artistry in this by far. I really do love, though, I know we've talked about this, is that the new ink jetting systems that they do for the faces, those eyes are incredible.
I've heard that sometimes the paint spraying presses can go a little wrong, though.
We figured, well, I did. This is true.
Once in a while.
It happens. I still need my refund, Hasbro. I sent them all back. The whole one set of... Never mind. I don't want to talk about it right now. So anyway, so this looks really good.
Yeah.
No,
but the rest of the line... Actually, you see, we'll reveal with why is there a blue thing there.
Why is there a blue cape?
But the rest of it are all What If figures. That's right. So they actually have the line of figures coming on from Marvel's What If series. And look at this one. This is Heist Nebula with blonde hair and no robotic parts.
Yeah,
like,
what's the deal?
This is like... the most unnatural thing on Nebula seems to be that hair. So the rest of it, she's pure Kree. I guess I haven't really said in the MCU what her race originally was.
It sounds like
what her species, I should say.
Whatever this episode is, from what we can see and what we can tell is that she is taking the place of Gamora.
Yes, because it seems like she is traveling along with or pulling a heist because it's Heist Nebula, along with T'Challa, who is now Star-Lord in that What If episode. Can you bring up his figure?
Through the magic of when things work.
Yep.
Hey!
So look at that. So as you can see much more in this one than on Nebula one, the animated style.
Yes.
So you can see much more in his face. This is done in the style of their animated series, not trying to look like Chadwick Boseman specifically, but more like the animated version of him in there.
Nicely done.
And you can see, not only you can see his helmet in there, but also a head. So that is actually the head of Uatu the Watcher, who is the guy who's actually going to be running What If. So he is the figure that is coming along with that, and we'll at the end we'll show you sort of what his is, because you get a piece of him with each figure, and then you can build him. So he's their Build-A-Figure. So really what's next? Okay, so there's Doctor Strange Supreme. So. Boy, this is a Doctor Strange who has seen some hard times.
Yeah,
I don't know. We don't know what happened to him, but boy, things have been going well. So, but you can see like the darker color scheme. You can see I love that they actually have circles under his eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, like he is, and you can see one of his hands there has the magic effect, the green sort of glowy thing along there. I don't know if this is from the zombie episode. Or is
I'm wondering the really sunken face made me think that.
Yeah. But then we found out there's the cloak on Spider-Man. So this is Zombie Hunter Spidey. So we know that there's going to be one episode kind of based on Marvel Zombies. Like, what if a zombie plague got out in the MCU in one episode? Turns out that Spider-Man's the one that's defended, and that's Doctor Strange's cloak of levitation that he's wearing there. So why? We don't know.
He's also got it. Look at his hair. His hair's like very Doctor Strangey.
It's true.
Like, yeah.
It's true. Maybe it's a side effect of wearing the cape.
So, no, wait. If he's a zombie hunter, that means
there must be a zombie for him to fight. Oh, there he is.
This makes me so happy.
Zombie Cap. We don't know how he gets zombified, but Steve Rogers is not having a good day.
Well, what
And
a
he's
great
hungry.
piece. Like, you can kind of see it a little bit under the legs and stuff. They've got holes. You can see holes through the limbs.
On his chest there, you can see.
His helmet strap along the side of his face.
So this, I'm trying to figure out where this costume comes from, though. So is this a version of his Winter Soldier?
Yeah, that
outfit?
looks like...
Or it's not World War II, is it?
No, I think that's Age of Ultron Winter Soldier.
It could be, because
somewhere
he's got
in that
the
area.
strap.
Right.
So he doesn't have the full thing on the side, but...
Right.
I guess we'll find out when we
see that.
And then, of course, my favorite figure in the line, there she is, Captain Carter. So this is Peggy Carter gets the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers. And
Fantastic.
so you can see she actually has a Union Jack on her shield. In addition to, she actually looks like the character Union Jack, which also I love because he's one of my favorites. But where's Steve then? If she's Captain Carter, she got the super soldier serum, so Steve is just like back at home, back in Brooklyn.
So
like,
they announced.
Beat up outside the
now they
theater.
didn't show this though. I'm surprised that doesn't do this.
There,
The Hydra Stomper.
So that's Steve Rogers inside a Howard Stark designed armor.
But why doesn't it come with his head then? An exchangeable head.
I don't know, maybe because it would be too small. I don't know. I thought that was odd too. But that's who's wearing the suit is Steve, because we saw that in the trailer.
Right.
At one point, he pops the helmet off, and you can see it. And his head is like half the size of that, because that is much bigger. Than
that's a bigger suit.
That's a what is it, a 9-inch?
Yeah, 9
figure?
or 9.5 inches.
Yeah,
I
so
think
that's like 3 inches taller than the other one. So much so that you can have Captain Carter ride on his back.
Yeah, there's little places for her feet to go. You can actually see in the shot here. There's even handles for her. Yeah. Like, you could pose this in so many different amazing ways. I can't wait to see the episode that it's based on. But wow, really well done. This one is more expensive.
Yes.
Most of these are like $20 to $22.
He's thick.
Yeah. Plus he comes with the full backpack. You can see he comes even with the little rocket exhausts and stuff.
Yeah. You have the blaster things out of his hand. The same thing that they've done with the Iron Man figures in the past. And then if you buy all of them,
there we go.
There he is, Uatu the Watcher, played by Jeffrey Wright in the What If series. So now that there's a multiverse, somebody's got to watch it, and this is the guy. So he lives on the moon, maybe with Steve Rogers.
With Steve Rogers, I'm sure.
And watches all the stuff that is happening. So traditionally in the comics, Uatu shows up when there are significant events happening to bear witness. Like their credo is not to get involved, but Kree Skrull War or Secret Invasion, like. Even Spider-Man makes a joke at one point during one of the fights, like, well, this can't be that big of a fight. Uatu's not here, and he turns around, and there's Uatu is, like, standing there silently watching. He's like, oh, no.
Why is he not in the room, then, in Loki? Like, he should be in the room at the end.
Maybe we'll find, maybe What If episode will be him, like, peeking
in.
He
was there.
And as Rob and I were talking about this over text, the Watchers are already a part of the MCU.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like he was saying, like, oh, we're about to meet the Watchers for Lieutenant. I'm like, no, they were there. And so if you remember Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, there was the joke about Stan Lee. They showed him that at one point as they're traveling between galaxies.
Right.
There's 3 of the Watchers are standing there with Stan Lee, and Stan Lee is telling him a story. Which now, because of continuity, doesn't make any sense at all. Even James Gunn has been like, ooh, yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, guys. Because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 takes place before any of the stuff that takes place before Civil War takes place, all that. So.
Oh, wow.
That character hadn't actually been a FedEx man.
You don't know. That time, it's timey-wimey.
Yeah,
who knows?
The Guardians of the Galaxy timeline is really odd. I can't wait to see the holiday special in Volume 3.
Yeah.
Which also, James Gunn has been doing the rounds for the Suicide Squad, so he's been talking a lot about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which he's going to start filming this year. So, and like as soon as he's done with the press junket for Suicide Squad, essentially. So I'm thinking September will probably be in studio.
Yeah.
So we're going to start seeing everybody sort of the gang got it back together.
I love. I'm going to bring these back up just because I love them. Okay, I had no idea this wave. I mean, I had no idea that they were going to spend this much time creating a set of figures for the show.
I know, but it shows the care and love that they have for this. That it's not just like, we're also doing this little animated thing. Like, no, they're treating it as if it's as important as the rest of them, because obviously they put Sylvie in that line.
Okay, so here's the problem. I was running out of shelf space for figures. The Phase 4 shelf is already getting there.
Up. Yeah, especially with those wings.
What do I do? Because I mean, there's only, and plus, I mean, it's money too. I mean,
of course.
that's an issue.
Right.
Like, Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
But the good news is you don't have to wait. You can wait to make the decision until February, which is when these figures actually appear.
Oh, that's better.
Yes, yeah. So you have until 2021, two. Sorry,
Oh,
two.
okay.
Time is weird.
All right.
2022. So you can decide. You can wait to decide if you want these figures until after you've seen Eternals and Spider-Man: Far From Home and Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, did I say it right?
Eternals. Then there's.
Eternals. Yeah.
I'm getting my 3-pack though of Spider-Man.
Okay.
Or more.
We'll see. But by the timeline, then by the time that happens, that'll be like this time next year.
I don't know. I have no idea. Who knows anything? This is good stuff. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. All right. I think that wraps it up for our stuff here. We don't have any low-key conversations because besides some good interviews that the creatives are doing, there's really nothing else to talk about. So we'll be looking forward to more what-if spoilers as they start coming along the line. In the meantime, Marvel We've Been the podcast is still rolling. We are getting into the really exciting stuff now. There is an alternate ending to the movie. So definitely pay attention to there because we're going to talk about that and get into some specifics on what they did and what they didn't do and how things changed. Yes.
Thankfully, they changed it.
And and a mysterious plot element from a deleted scene from earlier on comes back to play a major role in that too. So there's been another game threaded through the whole podcast that you didn't even know about. So now it's a good time to jump on. Or if you're a binge person, you can start from the beginning and work your way, and you can join us for the big finale at the same time. So we got some surprises coming. So I think it's gonna be a good time. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for being here with us. We will be back next week to talk about more Marvel stuff. Enough said.
Bye.